Welcome to Rugby League Fantasy Pro. In this video we're going to have a look at our pre-season tools, essentially our team picker for the NRL Fantasy Pro app. So the first thing we've added this year is a predicted teams section. So in here we actually have your ability to have a look at all of the currently released media versions of what they think will be the best 17 or the round 1 17 for a particular team. So Fox Sports back in October put out their best 17 for the Dolphins, and you can at a glance pull that up here, and you can also have a flick through different media outlets versions of the same. So we've got Zero Tackle, Sporting News. So that just gives you a little bit of if you're not extremely familiar with the team, if you're wondering where a player is likely to fit in, then you can pull up their team and have a look at what other people are saying they're expecting, and give you a little bit of an idea of deeper idea of what's expected of certain players. Now, coming down to our team picker, number of features in it. You can see here the remaining salary. So at the moment, don't take this as being any sort of reflection of what we are going to pick for our own side. We've just filled it up with various players for the purpose of demonstrating this video. As you can see at the moment, we've got a remaining salary of minus $182,000. So clearly we have to make some changes to bring that under the cap. Remaining average per player, because we're over the cap at the moment, we've got a remaining average per player of $0. But that keeps, as you're building a team, that keeps you with an idea of how your spending's going. If you start getting down to under $300,000 a player, then you're at the point where you're really desperate to find ultra cheapies to get the rest of your squad built out. Now, there's different ways you can go about sorting this. You can sort by player name, ascending, descending, or player price, high, low. What that's actually doing is setting your sorting for your selection list. So at the moment you can see we've got this selected to sort by players high to low. Now it's also got a filter in here, so if you already know the player you want to put in, then you can start typing the name out and it will quickly find it for you. Now you're getting a bunch of really valuable information here that's quite a lot different to the normal NRL fantasy selection tool. So you can see their position. We're showing you what their buys are. There's a color coding here that goes from green, lighter green, amber, red, which gives you an idea of what their buys are like for a round 1 selection. Now, Titans are coming up orange. They've got a buy in the first 2 rounds. If we have a look at some of the teams that come up as green, so Bulldogs are the highest category at the moment. They do have a buy in round 8, but they then don't have a buy to round 15 and 19. And they don't have a buy in 2 of the major buy the first 2 major buy rounds being 13 and 16. Next tier down, Cowboys, they don't have a buy through to round 16. So at a glance, you're kind of getting a good look at how buy friendly that team is from that column. What the player is priced at the moment, Payne Haas is priced at 63.8. Their first 5 rounds, if you're interested in that, Payne Haas has got the Sydney Roosters at a neutral venue, South Sydney at home, they're away to Penrith, then they have North Queensland at home, and then they're away to Melbourne. Now in here, we've got 3 different levels of settings here: 6 round projections, 12 round projections, and rest of season projections. So we're having a look at Payne Haas's 12 round projections. He's expected to play 12 games in the first 12 rounds. He doesn't have a bye. Harry Grant, on the other hand, is a bye round 4, so he's expected to play 11 games. We've got the 12 round projection for the player. So Haas, we're projecting it averaging 59.6 over the first 12 rounds. Our projection for him over the rest of the season is 59.5. The rest of season projected dollars per point. So Haas is pretty close to the starting dollar per point figure. Rest of season minimum price and rest of season peak price. Let's have a look, put that back down to 6 round projection. So our projected min price for him during the first 6 rounds is 844,000. Peak price is 880,000. He's currently priced at 880,000. So what we're saying here is the price that he's at now, we expect that to be the highest price for him in the first 6 rounds. We've got a peak loss for him at $36,000, minus $36,000, and a peak price difference at $0. Also showing his current percentage ownership. If we have a look at some players that we think are going to have strong value, Josh Schuster, we've currently got him with a 6 round projection of 43.7. He's currently priced at $408,000. We see him reaching a peak price of $531,000 in that 6 round period. We have a look at his 12 round projections. We've got him at a peak price of $191,000 profit. So a peak price of $599,000 compared to his $408,000. Now these projections, they're an awful lot more intelligent than the projections in the NRL fantasy team picker. That just uses some really basic algorithms. It doesn't take into any account the player's position, the player's role, how they've specifically performed in that position and role in the past, nor team strength, and also strength of opponents. So a couple of things we can do here. You can click through to our player profile and the fantasy page in our player profile for that player. Now at the moment we haven't done any of the Sea Eagles players, but we do have here his projections excluding and inclusive of goal kicking. He's not going to have any goal kicking duties, so our projection for those are the same. At the moment we've worked through our Bulldogs and Broncos players. We're currently working through our Cowboys players. So let's just close this tab back off and we'll have a look at Payne Haas. So if we come over to Payne Haas, you can go straight through to what our fantasy profile for him for 2024 is. So our 2023 review, Haas had a career high PPM of 1.08 in 2023 and his highest fantasy average since 2020. So we're recognising he's coming off quite a peak season. He's unlikely to have early value and could in fact drop some decent cash early. Has buys in around 13, 16 and 24. So he does have some strategic value early as a gun player without any buys for the first 12 rounds. But he may lose a little bit of a coin for you in that time. Then again, we all know what Haas is like. All it takes is for him to jag a try and put an 80 on the board, and that's really going to counter that. Now, we also have our Fantasy Legends projections. We're still, at the time of recording, it's still early January for us, so we don't actually have any of those coming through yet. The boys are largely still in pre-season mode. They are starting to put them together. So the Legends projections that are coming soon, the players in our stable, we have Shane Ewart, who was the 2021 Fantasy Champion, also ranked 40 in 2023 and has numerous other high finishes in our NRL Fantasy. We have Fungi and German. These guys always seem to go really close to each other. In 2023, Robert Fung came in 3rd overall with Cooper German 4th overall. Back in 2020, Fungi came in 7th overall with German coming in 8th overall. And we also have Mark Jessup representing NRL Fantasy Amateurs. He's going to be on board with his projections for players this year as well. So not only are you going to have access to our projections here, but you're also going to have access to the thoughts, projections and comments of some extremely highly esteemed NRL fantasy legends as well. Let's flip back out. As you can see, our profile pages are very in-depth. We'll do another video on that another day. So coming back to our team picker, you can hyperlink directly to that either from your selected players or from your team selection window if you want to have a look at what our thoughts are for that player while you're picking them. If you click this, it does actually open in a new window, so you're not having to go back and forth. You can just have a look and then close it off, and you're right back to here. No hassle. Down the bottom of this, got to get out of the selection pane. Just hit escape. Okay, so this is what our selected kind of thrown together team list is at the moment. You can see there are some players missing data. What that means is that we're currently not projecting them. So at the moment, Ben Trebojevic, he doesn't actually come into our current projected 17 for the Seagulls for round 1 team lists. Naturally, these are all going to update and change as we work through trial games, and also when round 1 team lists drop, of course, all of our projections are going to gear back towards that, also taking into account any suspensions, injuries, etc, etc. Down here, something else that you don't get in the NRL Fantasy app, we have our buys charts for the first 6 rounds and then for major buys. So you can see at a glance, round 1, we've currently got 21 available players out of 17. Round 4, we've currently got 19 players available out of 17. So we've got a hooker, we're good for mids, we're good for edges, good for halves, good for centres, good for wing fullbacks. However, these asterisks do point to dual position players. So that just gives you an idea. Okay, I've got a DPP player in there, I've got 3 mids in that. So, it gives you an idea if you might need to just have a careful look at what you've got for that round. Then you've also got the same for the major buy rounds. Now, it's a very good idea. You save a lot of trades if you can kind of buy a team that sets up well for the first couple of major buy rounds, being 13 and 16. Doing that, then you're not having to burn a lot of trades during those first 2 origin rounds. So that's just something, if that's a strategy you want to employ, we make it very easy for you. Now, let's just have a deeper look at our projections. We'll just give you a cursory look at this. We'll do another video on that in the days to come. But to have a look at where our projections for Josh Schuster are coming from, actually, better, let's have a look at our projections for Nathan Cleary, and you'll get a really good idea of how they're built up. So where we're going to go to for that is our player forecasts, and we're going to pull up Nathan Cleary, and it's defaulting to 12 round projections. So what we've got here is his entire season, who is playing in what rounds, the expected rank of the Panthers, 1 to 4, expected rank of opponents. Now these expected ranks are basically defaulting at the start of the season to what the bookmakers have. As the season progresses, they go through some weighted averages between what the current bookmakers odds are and also what the current team performance is. In the future, we're going to be allowing you to actually set your own table, so that will show according to what you believe each opponent is. Now, we've got his role. His role's the same every week, half, playing 80 minutes. This gets really important with forwards for Payne Haas. That's going to be front row, and we have him averaging 60 minutes a game. His non-kicking, non-goal kicking expected score. So this is without any goal kicking and without any general play kicking. We project him as scoring 48.21 points against a team ranked 5 to 8. And with goal kicking points of nearly 8 for the game. We have him with a 90% share of his team's kicking meters, and we have that translating to 16 points a game. We can see his break even, his floor, his ceiling. That's also factoring in the strength of opponent he has, projections, and dollar projections. So as you can see here, where we layer up his projection in quite a detailed way, very different to the very basic algorithms used over in NRL fantasy. Let's just flick out of this. We'll go back to our team picker. I think that's pretty much all I really need to show you. I think we've gone through all of it. One thing with it's a little bit of a pain, the interchanges and emergencies, they do just take a little bit longer to open up because I have a lot more players in them. So our system just needs to kind of crunch the data over a little bit. So you just have to be a little bit patient with that one. But the rest of the team selections are, pretty quick. So if we have a look at wing fullback, that comes up quite quickly. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. It gives you a little bit of an idea of a little bit of a deeper idea of what we've built into this and how it can be useful to you. All the best for selecting your team in 2024, and we'll keep on working through these videos to really unlock the power of Rugby League Fantasy Pro, NRL Fantasy Pro. A lot of users have told us, look, it's a really comprehensive, great system. I just really don't know everything that's in it. I'd really love some videos here you can really show us how to fully use the depth of it. So we're committed to working through that for you at the moment.